it is Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and Jasmine from thejasminebrand.com is here.
Yes.
And Joey Badass is here.
In the building. Thanks for having me. How you doing, Angela?
He is the definition of way up. I mean, think about it. When you first put out your mixtape, you were in high school still.
I was way down.
Yeah. but you was lit in high school, to be fair.
True. This is true.
What was that experience like, just being in high school, but being like a celebrity at such a young age?
Honestly, it was something I was having a hard time adjusting to because I had put out my first mixtape in the end of my junior year going into senior year. I went on tour that summer for the first time with like Juicy J, which was a whole thing in itself, right? Like imagine
in high
17,
school going on tour with Juicy J.
And that's when he had bands and make good dance.
Oh,
so
wow.
I seen a lot of things that I feel like maybe I shouldn't have seen at that point, but we here now.
Right.
But when I went back to school that year, it was it was weird. I'll be sitting in class and like the freshmen are like taking pictures of me from outside the class and people being starstruck in the hallway. So I came home one day. I was like, it's done with. It's over. You gotta, take me out of this, put me in online school.
And she did. Okay,
Yeah.
Respectfully enough.
Yeah.
All right, and you could never have anticipated, though, back then, like being a junior going into your senior year, putting out a mixtape, just where this would really take you in life.
Well, I always had a plan. I'll say that for sure because, in high school, I was a theater student initially for like the first 2 years until I got like kicked out for poor attendance. But, I always wanted to make music my whole life. But when it was coming to that point of going to high school and even thinking about college, I'm like, okay, I got to like choose that specialized learning that's going to help me advance throughout life. And at that point, there wasn't any programs to be a rapper
Right.
or like, to make hip hop music. So I picked the next thing, which was acting. But what I learned quickly was how hard it was to make it as an actor, especially coming up in New York City. So I quickly decided, I'm like, okay, I'm going to just stick with my musical dreams because I feel like I really got a real chance. And in the future, I'll leverage my music career to get back into acting.
You think that music is easier than to get into?
Well,
I
thought for me.
Okay.
I thought for me personally because music was something that I was doing my whole life. And I knew that I had a real talent for it, where acting was something that was new. Like, even my class consisted of, it was 2 other black kids, right? And these kids been doing it since they was in like elementary school. Like
Right.
this is like it's like my 3rd day out here.
Right.
I'm trying to catch up. So I was just like, you know what? Let me just stay in my lane and I'll double back, when the time is right.
When you started acting, were you concerned about people being hesitant because you're a musician, you're a rapper? Do you think people are going to not take you seriously?
Oh, no, not at all. I actually thought that would help me. That's how I looked at it. Like I could have some leverage. So when these people was like casting a role, they're like, okay, this is somebody who can bring viewers to whatever show or to whatever movie. That's how I looked at it. My only like real hesitation when it came to acting in film was early. I wanted to make sure that I could never be like pigeonholed into a stereotypical type of role.
Okay.
So I avoided a lot of roles.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, in the beginning, because I wanted to show people that I could really act. I didn't want to be like a drug dealer or a street cat or anything like a fucking crackhead or anything like that in the beginning. Can I curse?
Yeah, go ahead. You got
Shit,
it.
fuck. Yeah, I didn't want to.
Let's not get all crazy.
I didn't want to be boxed in
Right.
at the beginning, and then that would just kind of put me in a box for my whole acting career. So I took like different roles, like Mr. Robot or Boomerang. Then the Wu-Tang started. Wu-Tang was even something I hesitated on. If I didn't have such a good relationship with the RZA himself, I would have never took that role.
Really?
Yeah, because it was too close to what I do in real life.
Well, we do love you as Neek, though. I just gotta say, like, and I know
It's
that
so
might have been
believable.
early on. If that was like your first role that they
No,
offered
that
to
was
you,
that
would
was like when I took on Neek. I feel like it was perfect time.
Okay, yeah.
Like it's crazy because the month before the audition came in, I literally wrote up this plan, this manifestation plan. I'm like, okay, I want to land the role. I don't know exactly what it looked like, but I was like, I'm ready to shift into, like, I don't know if it's action or it's street, whatever it is. God, I want this thing.
Okay.
And then the next month, the unique offer came in, and it was like, this
Wow.
is it.
And by the way, it just shows you how much girls like that type of role. Like, we like the bad guy.
So typical for us.
Yeah, so typical. It's a shame. We
It
like,
is.
come on, leave him alone.
Like, but he is doing wrong. So you said you did what is it called? A manifesto? What did you do? What did you write down? What you called it?
Just like a manifestation plan.
Okay, and so in
I
within a
do
month,
it at the end of every year.
you do it okay in December. You do.
Yeah,
year,
for like the following year.
And it seems to be working out okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And do you go back to it? You look at it? Like, what do you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely has evolved for me into like more of a mind map, because at first it was just like, okay, here's December of 2019. Here's my 2020 goals for the year. And that was it, right? Then I come back at the end of the year, or I check in halfway. I'm like, seeing my progress. But now I write my goals out for the year, and then I also have like a monthly plan for them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like a lot of the time we write goals, we write these big, sexy goals, but we don't really have a plan on how we're going to achieve them. We're just like, I want this.
Right.
Hopefully one day I just stumble
hopefully-
upon it. You know what I'm saying? So I call it like zooming in and zooming out.
Okay.
Like
I
the
feel like
zoom
you do
out
that,
is
yeah. You do that in your music too. I feel like you've manifested a lot of things, even in
For
your
sure.
lyrics, that you wanted to happen.
For sure. I have used that technique for sure. I might talk about something, saying I got something and I ain't really got it yet, but I know I'm going to get it once I put it out to the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you got to think about it, right? If I say something like, I got a Bentley, and it hits the ears of 1 million people, it's like, yeah, they're helping me manifest it. 'Cause
Right.
They believe me.
And you also get more
know?
accountable
Okay,
when
yeah.
you speak things into the atmosphere and
Right.
people are listening.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you more accountable
Facts. It's like
to make it happen. Like, I got to get this for my mom.
Yeah.
Me and Hov got to have this.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a
And-
fact. But even what the saying goes, like, be careful what you wish for. Like, I'm big on the power of the tongue.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even talk about myself in a certain type of way. Like, I don't talk bad about myself. Like, the most I would say, and I got to stop saying it, I would be like, I'm a bozo. That's the
so
most
funny that you
negative
even say
thing
that
I
to
would say.
yourself.
Yeah, it's like, I'm a bozo.
I'm a
Why would
bozo.
I do that?
But, and then I think sometimes
I'm not a
people-
bozo.
No,
You're not a bozo.
No, actually, I'm not. I'm super smart, and I'm making it happen. I also saw when you went on social media and you said that you were ready to start doing some features, and then everybody started going crazy. So did you knock out any of those features
Oh,
already?
yeah, I've been knocking out a lot of features lately. You see, the thing is, I just got my home studio done, and I just feel like now I'm at a mature place in my career. Like, I feel like growing up over the last 10 years, I was learning how to navigate. You know what I'm saying? And I was always constantly on the move. Now I actually have my hub, and I have, stability and everything. So I feel like I could just really see the whole playing field, and I'm able to just dish things right back out when it comes to these different opportunities and stuff like that. So, yeah, I've definitely been on the feature run, and people could expect to hear me on.
Anybody you could tell us about yet?
I'd rather them be surprises. I don't want to spoil it for the people that I did it, and then they pull my verse off. Like, you run your mouth
Ain't
too much.
nobody pulling your verse
Nah,
off.
that's true.
Relax.
That's true. I know.
He like, yeah, actually, you're right.
You're right.
They ain't crazy.
And
I
you
mean,
do-
my
yeah.
latest feature was with Larry June. Shout out to the homie Larry and Alchemist. They just dropped they album together, and I'm on there.
That's another thing that I really like about you is that even though you are still young, you pay a lot of homage to like the people that came before you in hip hop.
Word.
And we don't see that all the time. And it just shows me like, what was your household like growing up listening to music?
Oh, it was very musically diverse. Like, I'll just put it for you like this. Like, I used to see Ready to Die CD. I see Lauryn Hill. I see Macy Gray. I see India Arie.
Okay.
I see Bob Marley, Yellowman, Sizzler. You know what I'm saying?
Sizzler.
Prince.
Yeah. This is some Brooklyn stuff right here.
That
Yeah,
sound
for
like
sure, for sure. Like my mom's side was St. Lucian, my dad's side was Jamaican, and then we grew up in Brooklyn, so it was just a melting pot of all these different flavors of music.
Who's your first concert that you went to?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it had to have been Scream Tour.
Oh.
B2K.
At the end of the
I
day,
love
you're
it.
still a kid.
I love it.
I am
love
Max.
He like, I was so hurt when B2K broke
Yeah,
up.
damn, you exposing me right now, Dad. know what I'm saying? There's a lot of cougars on my body right now. I say shit like that.
That's hilarious.
And so I think the other good thing about your music, besides the fact that I feel like it pays homage to, I hear like Tribe Called Quest, and like you said, Biggie, Big L, you've spoken on how much you like Big L. Nas, a lot of people have said you're reminiscent of like a Illmatic type of Nas, but also social commentary, which I think is important. And there's a lot going on in the world right now. How does that inspire you in your music? Just when you pay attention to what's happening in politics, what's happening with, all of these mass shootings. Sometimes you watch the news and it can be really depressing.
Right. There's this, I believe it's a Nina Simone quote that has always resonated with me. And she said something along the lines of that, like, music should always reflect what's going on in the times, like what's going on in each generation. So, I try to take heed to that as best as I can, staying aware of socio-economic issues and socio-political issues and stuff like that. And, because I believe I'm from like that older school mindset where the rappers are kind of like the neighborhood reporters and stuff like that. So I definitely think that aspect is important. I think as people with such huge platforms and such huge followings, there's definitely a duty and a responsibility to feed the minds of these people with positive things, or even to bring awareness to these people with, stuff that may be going on in the world that they might not know about, and, spreading messages further. Like, I'll always stand for that. However, as a musician, I believe that music is a expression of art, you know what I'm saying? And it's a self-expression. So, I don't think that every artist needs to be required to only talk about that stuff. Right. But, once in a while again, and, there's things like interviews as well. Like if you're R&B singer.
Which you are now.
Which I kind of am segueing into, right? But say you're an R&B singer, it's like nobody's going to expect you to necessarily be talking about what's going on in the world. It's like we want to hear that baby making music.
Yeah, love.
Sometimes, but think about what Marvin Gaye did, sure. What's going on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because if something touches you in a certain way, you don't know how that affects other people, especially to hear your favorite artists.
Right.
Very true.
Talk about it. That's why I even feel like, certain songs and music and albums that you've done are things that people can listen to and be like, damn. Because I feel like we are a lot more aware now, especially with social media and what's going on.
I say that,
but also misinformed.
I say, yeah, exactly. Because while this is like the information age, is also the misinformation age.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of shit that's just being pumped out on the daily that has no real backing of facts, and people are getting lazier and lazier of actually chasing down the facts.
Yeah.
So it's like you read a headline and it's like, that's what it is.
It's so annoying too.
Yeah,
and we also have short attention spans too.
Very short attention spans. So it's like the headline is the fact. That's it.
And how do short attention spans affect your music too? Because they'll be like, oh, nobody wants to listen to a song or an album that's like this length.
Right. I don't necessarily think that if it affects my music like on a song by song basis, but I have been taking more heed to that aspect, and just when it comes to content, like thinking about how can I create more short form content? Because I feel like there's nothing more frustrating than like having this grand idea and spending hella grands on it.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just for it to not be consumed in the way that matches up to what was put into it. You know what I mean? So my thinking has definitely shifted more into like, okay, how can I make more short form content? 'Cause these motherfuckers got me fucked up.
And even look, you definitely did a little something with us when you put Serayah in the video, and everybody was like, "Oh my God!" First the pictures came out, and I saw that you said that you're single and you guys are friends, but it did send everybody in a frenzy.
It was great.
Sure. I'm not gonna lie.
It was a great way to manipulate the media.
Was that purposeful?
It was purposeful for sure. I mean, not initially. That wasn't the idea. Like, when we shot the video at first, but when it came to the team getting together, like, okay, how are we gonna roll this out? It was like, bet.
Were you guys hesitant at all with the idea of let's make people think maybe this is something, or you were like, cool?
And maybe it is something we don't know.
Right.
It wasn't no hesitation, because all parties involved knew what was going on and knew what the plan was. We was all on the same page. So,
It's kind of nice to do that. I did that when I made my
it
announcement.
was more excitement. It was
it is.
what's going to happen?
It was
like,
good.
what people going to think? People have never seen me in that space. Neither.
Right.
They've never seen me like
So
juxtapose
it made it
to
believable.
somebody. Yeah,
We're like, damn, he in love. I was like, he was just on Breakfast Club talking about having 2 wives. And
What happened? She done
Semen
turned them out.
retention.
You mean lip service?
I mean, lip service. Yeah, he was just on lip service talking about 2 wives, and like here he is. And then I started thinking,
a
like,
lot could change in a year, Angela. A lot could
and I was
change.
gonna say that too, because listening to the music, I was like, it sounds like he want to be with one woman now.
Yeah. I mean, shit, that's what it sounds like to you. That's what it sounds like.
What is it? Is her what she hears? Is that accurate? Do you
Yeah,
want to just be with one now? Or are you still on this?
Listen, it's like,
train track.
sound and music is so subjective. Like, you can get this from it. She could get that from it. I say whatever you get from it. Like, take it as that's what it is.
Because we listen to, because I also, when I listen to your lyrics, I'm like, well, clearly he wrote this himself, and this is a reflection of how he really feels in real life.
Right.
Like when you hear a song like "Falling," I'm like, somebody done got him.
So I'll reveal it for the first time here. I actually made that song in 2018.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
Okay.
made that song. What was that? 5 years? 5 years ago.
Oh,
That
so
song
it's
is 5 years old. It's just that like I never felt confident enough or aligned enough to put that out where people would accept it from me. You know what I'm saying? But like I've really been experimenting with my music for years, for a long time, and I feel like now I'm at a new intersection or just at a new era where, one, my confidence is up, and two, the alignment for a lot of these records is like right on time. You know what I'm saying? With just, I don't know, there's been a whole bunch of female engagement,
Right.
you know what I mean, with Joey on the last couple of years. So I'm like, okay, you know what?
You've been laying around with your shirt off. Yeah.
Well, that was a first time thing. If you pay attention, I've never done that. I've never done that before this video. That was strategic, and I'm not taking my shirt off for nobody unless, it costs, because I'm definitely not one of these
It pays
niggas
to
out
take
here.
your top off.
Yeah.
It pays to take the top off for sure. And, that was something I did to just signify this new era, but that's not something I'll be doing. I'm definitely not one of them niggas who's shirtless with the suit jacket on. Like, nah, that, you know what I'm
That's not
saying? Nah. I mean, it was me in the past.
Right.
But it ain't me no more.
Okay. No, and that was interesting that you say that, because, as I was listening to the music, I also was thinking about how your fans have expectations of you, because they grew up, 1999.
For sure. Boom, bap,
yes.
all that, yeah.
And so for you to do this, because even when you did this song, Devastated, which I do like that song, it was a shift.
Deviation,
for you.
yeah.
Yeah, and people were like, oh my God, what is he doing? Some people loved it, and some people have kind of want you to stay in like a certain lane.
Right.
So for you, like, how do you respond? Because clearly they're your fans still,
Right.
but you're also like, you got to let me grow.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much, that was my goal with my last album, 2000, that I dropped in July. Before that album, it was a 5-year break, hiatus, and in that 5 years, like, I was doing a lot of stuff like Falling and, this different experimentation with my voice, with my sound. But, by the time I looked up, I was like, damn, 5 years went by. I can't just come hit them with, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, the way I look at it is, rap game like the crack game. So here it is, Joey Badass, right? Here's my trap house. Here, my fans are like my clientele. They're coming to my trap house because they know I have crack.
Great
You
example.
know what I'm saying? So
Let's do this. Come on,
I haven't produced crack in 5 years.
Right.
And I got all these fiends still lined up
God.
around blocks just waiting for crack.
This
And so it's
example
like,
is wild.
what
by
if
the way.
I just come to the door and I'm like, here's some crystal meth?
Right.
They're like, what the fuck is this? So, with 2000, I had
But they
to
still
give
get
them,
hooked on it, maybe.
I had
Right.
this is true, but I had to serve the clientele because you know what, they were loyal. They waited for me. They kept me above water. You know what I'm saying? Is why I survive. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, they come to the shows, everything. Like, even those 5 years of no music, I never had a dull moment. So I had to reward those people. I had to show those people, thank you. You know what I'm saying? That I appreciate you, and like, I'm always gonna hold y'all down with this product that y'all love. But now that they got the crack,
Okay. Switch him over to
we
the crystal meth,
enterprising
yeah.
now. We
Right.
enterprising, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, look, I set my man. Look, you run this trap house. I'm gonna go to Newark, New Jersey. I'm gonna start seeing what's good with this other shit. With
We
some
gotta
ecstasy.
pull him off this series.
Yeah, this is he is
No
unique.
more
You
that's
are
it.
unique. He really is that character. What's the craziest thing that you've experienced with a fan? Since we're talking about your fans.
Can you care to elaborate?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a like. Is it some interesting experience with a fan, or something crazy that a fan
Well,
did?
fans
Or
say the darndest things sometimes.
Darndest.
You remember that show growing
Yeah,
up?
kids
say the darndest things,
That's how I be looking at fans sometimes. I mean, I don't know. Like, what's the craziest thing? Many crazy things have happened.
Okay.
Like, from fans just wandering into my dressing room acting like they're working for the venue,
Sweeping up.
You know what I'm saying? Different type of stuff.
With
That's
heels
creative.
on and a dress.
That time it was actually a guy.
Oh,
you know what I'm
okay.
saying? Like, who you with, bro? He's like, I'm
Here's
Got the
my
stuttering.
demo.
yeah, it's always something new. It's always something new. Every time I go out, it's something new, something different.
So you are doing an R&B album, right? Is it an R?
So I wouldn't call it an R&B album. I'd say it's like R&B influence and inspired. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely something more something I describe more as like, here's a body of work where I'm opening up about my relationships with women, my dating experiences and my love life.
Okay.
You know?
People want to hear that too, because
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like for
interesting.
so long, that's why when you did lip service, I was like, is he really going to do that?
Right.
And you definitely came on there and brought the heat.
Shit.
Do you have any regrets with that interview? Because you said a lot, and it was
I ain't got no regrets.
Yeah,
never.
he
I mean,
shouldn't. People
what I
reference it
always
all the
say.
time.
I see people reference it all the time too. But what I say all the time is like, as we're all humans. So, and it's not even to say that I'm not recanting anything that I said. But as human beings, we grow and we evolve. So you might feel this way at this point in your life, but that don't mean you're gonna feel that way forever.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's exactly where I was, and I stand on everything I said. And
At that
that's where I
time.
was at that time.
Right.
And we here now.
10 toes down. You stand on it.
Yeah, 10 toes down.
But listen, that
I
was
was
very.
like 10 hoes down.
Because I don't think before that you would have done that interview, because I know I've been like trying to get you on there for a while and it wasn't time for you.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say I wouldn't have done it, but the
It'd have been
alignment
different.
couldn't have been better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm big on alignment. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with this Fauna song, like, I've loved this song for 5 years.
Yeah, that's crazy to
I
me.
loved it.
Yeah.
Like,
So
if I
you
show you
always
my
knew at some
iTunes,
point-
I probably played this song 5,000 times. You know what I'm saying? And now I just feel like the time couldn't be any more better. It's like brand new to y'all ears.
Yeah.
Right, it is.
And it's almost brand new to me too, for sharing it with the world for the first time.
Right.
And it's a very vulnerable thing to do because it is a different look. And I know sometimes that can be scary too. Like, how are people going to receive this?
I was just tired of being scared. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I'm like, yo, it's now or never. Like, if I'm really going to make shifts and changes and leaps and bounds, or if I'm really going to be about the things I talk about, if I'm going to be a good role model, like, I got to show these people that you got to take these risks. You know what I'm saying? I got to
Yeah.
be willing to stand on the risk. And, I've taken risks before in the past that I feel like weren't as successful. But I feel like there's no real such thing as failure because you only learn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I will say this, like Ghostface, part of the reason why I love him is because of his experimenting with the R&B on the level that he did.
Right.
He did like the Wizard of Poetry album where it was like all collabs
Right.
and kind of like an R&B album. So are you planning to do a lot of collabs on there?
Yes. Planning to do a lot of collabs already. So I just sent a few records out this week. Supposed to be having some sessions. Like, I don't want to ruin those surprises or
Well, let's
up
do
the
some. Can we do some
expectation.
manifestations then?
manifestations.
Yeah.
One day I would love to make a song with SZA.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, now I could definitely see that happening.
fire.
For
And
sure.
I went to go see her and tour here when she came to the Garden. And that was one of the most amazing
I'm
shows
so mad I missed it.
that
So
I've
mad.
ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, she did such an amazing job. And her album, if you could see everybody in there, I mean, it was crazy. So,
Yeah,
yes.
she's somebody who I'm super proud of because I've known her since the very beginning, like, of her career and stuff like that. And to see her trajectory, it's like, it's unreal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm super proud of her and I would love to work with her.
Okay,
Shout out
see,
to SZA.
we like a manifestation.
Yeah.
And how do you feel when you come back? Like you said, Brooklyn is home for you. You're from Brooklyn. It's the reason why you have the style that you have. So how is it like when you're out of town and then you come back and you see how different it is too at the same time?
How is it?
Yeah, for you. Like, do you ever come back home?
Well,
and
it
be
was
like,
already
"Ooh."
different when I was there. It was like changes so much when I was there, from like when I was growing up to like, you know, when I was maturing into like a man. It was already so much different. So it's like, I don't know, it doesn't surprise me anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To see it changing or to see more changes, I'm just like, there go them people.
Right. To see a Best Eye Brownstone for like, I just saw the one that they shot Crooklyn in. That brownstone just sold for $4.1 million in Best Eye.
I bet. You know, and it's a damn shame because there ain't no fucking parking spots.
Ain't none.
That's a fact.
Ain't no
You
one, all
You
that
know
money.
how long
All
it takes
that
me
money,
to
them
park?
houses.
When I'm in a
Ain't
car
no
with Angela,
park.
I'm like, oh, I can't believe you do this every day. You got to find a parking spot.
And
You got to
Wild.
manifest it.
Yeah, I do. I
You
pray
need to
to
try-
God.
you need to try to
I'd be
manifest a
like,
parking
dear
spot."
God, please, when I get home, let me
Yeah.
find a parking spot not too far.
Yeah.
I swear that I do that.
And it be working.
And people don't understand too, because if you're not from New York, they like, damn, you pay this much and you don't have nowhere to park.
It's a crazy concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, you know, I had to take my talents to Connecticut.
And what about your family? Now, how do they feel? Because I know, like, you know, like you said, from a young age, growing up, listening to music in the house, your mom having to take you out of school. What does she think now about everything?
Oh, I mean, she's proud.
She's like, I did a good job.
Yeah, you know, she's happy. She's stable. You know what I'm saying? Me and my mom, houses is like 10 minutes from each other, too.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, it's really dope. You know, I got my baby sister and my daughter. They're like they're the same age.
Okay.
So, you know, they go to the same school.
Well, that's crazy. Your baby sister and your daughter are the same age. So that's her aunt.
Yeah.
But they close. Yeah. Close.
But my daughter's actually 5 months older.
So is that your dad's daughter or your mom's daughter?
My mom's daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we love to see it. Well, thank you so much for coming through. Do we have a date for the album or
No date.
No date.
as
Okay.
of right now, but we are planning the next single right now. So
Okay.
in the meantime, enjoy Falling. You know, can we get into it?
Yeah.
Can we play
do
Falling
that?
right
Yes,
now?
we absolutely can. Please.
This is Joey Badass with Angela Yee, and here's my new single, Falling.
And make sure you watch the video.
And watch the video. Probably fellas, not with your girl.
He might take her.
Or fellas, don't watch it. Fellas,
you don't watch it by yourself.
don't watch
either.
it. Just listen to the song, fellas. Just, yeah.
Or it might inspire you to do some push-ups.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, Joey Badass, Brooklyn's own.